everyone. Tommy Hawksbud here. Another day in the Big Island of Hawaii. Beautiful day today. Did a lot today already. I had to move my show a little bit further down the road because I had to get back to get ready to do it. Going to do a hardcore show today. So it's not going to be love and light teaching you. Thank you for that. Just checking on the audio, which is fine, good. It's not going to be what everybody expects it to be, or might not even understand why I'm doing it. Well, I'm going to go into a lot of things in different order, so it's not going to be received in the way you would want to hear it if most people did it. But I'm not like most people, and I don't think like most people, don't act like most people, and I'm not as stuck in a programmed idea that's useless like most people. Sorry to say that. The title, Facing Life, which we all do, within love, sex, relationships, and the truth. The hardest part about all those words is the word truth. You can live in those situations and not do a thing about it. And that's definitely not living within the truth or even understanding it. Facing it, no matter how bad or good it sounds when you hear it or go through it, it's better to deal with it then. And I'll go into the reasons why, because we're doing a lot of that stuff this week. I'm sure you know about the cases going on and abuse cases and what happened and things like that. Well, it's funny that things come to the head at the same time. Now, I've been talking about this stuff for over 6 months directly, and then a lot longer about Mr. Cosby. But we'll go into that step by step, why I'm going there, why I feel it's really important. Now, we have a lot of different people out in the world that actually control how we think, how we act, or how they want us to act. All right, it's a man's world. Let me get that straight out from the start. This is not a woman's world. The goddess isn't watching over all the women. She's there. The being's there, an entity, deity. But if you don't learn to connect with her... All right, somebody's sending me text. I can't read them and get into a site while I'm trying to do my show. Sorry, I'll catch it later. All the things that I'm talking about are in everybody's life. Some people have some really good experiences in some of them, and really bad in other ones. If you have a perfect life, well, you're really gifted, lucky, and then you have to think, what's that really mean to you? Being gifted with nothing happening. Well, something that I will say is nothing happens, nothing happens. You're living a life in a void, thinking you're in bliss, bliss meaning, oh, you have food, you have a house, you have a car, have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, you have a dog, cat, and you're living in that peaceful attitude where I'm next to the ocean, and you're rich and you don't have to work. So yeah, you think, what do I got to do? What's happening in between all that? Nothing. You're staying in a state. What are you involved with? Nothing. Making yourself happy. Well, you're on planet Earth. And I'm going to tell people, it's going to be hard to understand it, but hopefully you will. You don't come to planet Earth to be happy. Soul doesn't take a mission to come into this world to be happy. But the things that be, like the nervous system that your body is connected to, the brain and the heart, all those things pumping blood through your brain, and then that brain gets programmed. You're programmed to think and feel and be all these things. Now, a baby without programming is so much different. They don't have the programmed ideas of what love is, hate is, anger. They go by light energy, which affects them inside spiritually. And babies are, I would say, the only spiritual beings on the planet, unless their mother's hardcore drugs and it's actually affecting the child before it's born. But I don't want to go there. So most children open to the light, especially when they're born. They can see it now, and they can feel it. It comes from people that are good. It doesn't come from people that are bad. It comes from people that are trying to become spiritual. So with that, children are already being programmed the second they leave the womb. Is that a good thing or bad thing? Well, if they had parents that were spiritual, it would be a different story altogether. But that is not the case. So we have to look at it. What is a child learning? When does a child start learning? I don't know if I can hold on one split second. I don't know if I can reach my door. I'll let my little gizmo out. So children aren't in a very good space due to the fact that most parents have no awareness of spirituality. I mean, with all the New Age people saying they're spiritual now, there's no definition to the word spiritual. You look it up in a dictionary and they'll say what? Being of spiritual nature. It kind of contradicts what it is and just puts it along with other words. And then you ask the average person what it means. The only thing they'll say is, oh, I give unconditional love. I mean, they can't go deeper than it. It doesn't become a really complicated word to give a definition to. Because people don't know the definition or even how to experience the definition of what the word spiritual means. The closest they can come to it is love. And how many people understand love at any great level? They don't. So, as we go through today, it's going to get hardcore as I move on into the topic today. If you got children listening, I don't know, you might want to tell them not to listen at some point, and I'll give you a clue word when I say that. I don't know. I think children need to know what's happening to them because they're the ones that are getting abused. If they don't know it, they don't know it, and they can't report it. So, yeah, I'm going to go through this as, I can't say fast, but I'm going to try to go through it as much of this as I can. So facing the truth, dealing with your own truth, is the most important thing. Men, M-E-N, men, need to open their minds to the truth and not to the lies. But in general, the lies are so much more accepted by men because usually anything that makes you feel good is what people want to accept. And in that being said, it's easier to accept something no matter how bad or good it is as long as it makes you feel good. Which is a pretty lame reason, but that's true. So, I'll say this because I study with a medicine woman, I study with shamans, I study with spiritualists, I study with beings. The teachings that I did get from being here are limited. The Earth's limited in spiritual growth. You don't become a spiritual giant on planet Earth. You can't be. And you don't. Planet Earth is a place that I call the beginning of soul. I use the word which people don't like, hell. Hell is a man-made word, but we live in it. We live with the pain and suffering and all those adjectives and nouns that are not happy words, don't make you feel good, but are true and real. I say this because now, for women, it's much different. And please, I'll go into that later, but I can talk for women in a lot of different ways. Now, men don't go through half as much as women do in their life. Or they work hard. Well, working hard doesn't teach you much. You move your muscles and you do work. Doctors and lawyers, well, I wouldn't go anywhere with lawyers, but doctors try to save lives. It's the pharmacies and the other doctors that are giving out medicines that are wrong for the wrong situation, allowing the wrong medicines out to the world and things. And I'm not talking about pain medicine. That's the least of mankind's problems. Whether they ever admit that or not is another story. Check what kills more people than anything else in the United States. It's not opioids. is called drinking. And there's many different kinds of liquors and beer that people drink that put them in different states of sickness, perversion, twisted ideas, anger, violent. Even marijuana, which is being attacked, it's kind of taken the pressure off recently, but shouldn't be, because it's not a drug that makes people angry, killing, or kills people. Or they're still trying, people that don't like it are still trying to fight it, but it's slowly going to be a legal thing, which should be. Now, people don't go out and kill people because they're smoking marijuana. People don't go running people over because they're smoking marijuana. They don't get into fights with their family or anybody because they're smoking. It's a totally different drug than drinking is. It doesn't give you all these throat cancer, lung cancer, liver cancer, all these other things that happen. So yeah, mankind needs to wake up to what's going on, being aware of what they put in their body, and what they allow in their body. The food's all toxic. So yeah, what am I going to say? Don't eat? Well, you'd probably live a happier life if you didn't have to eat, that's for sure. You wouldn't be coming down with a lot of problems. Now, why I'm doing this, which I do on and off, women need to deal with their truth. I mean, I'm not afraid to talk about anything that went on in my life, good, bad, or indifferent. That's why I put my first book out, my second book, not my first book, sorry, When Truth is Called Crazy, because I was considered crazy all the time. When you deal with the truth, it doesn't fit into everybody else's story. Well, the synthetic drugs, I'll just throw it out real fast, is not good. Anything synthetic is not good in the body because the body doesn't recognize it. I mean, if they make enough synthetic drugs or even marijuana, they put it out there, people will start doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Marijuana is a natural plant grown on the ground, in the ground, comes from the earth, and that's what it should be. When they make synthetic medicines, it alters the body because the body is putting stuff inside it that it's not aware how to use it. I could go into that, but maybe later I will, but I got too much to get into right now. If I have time, I'll go back into the drug world, but I want to leave that for as much as I can to get into the rest of this. Now, the woman's character is much different than a male's character. They have much more feelings and emotions than men do. And usually in a good way. They're loving and caring, which most men are not. So right there it tells you something different between a man and a woman. We're all the same. We're all ignorant because most people are, because they don't want to go any further than the lies that they're programmed with. Now, women are trying to adapt into a society that keeps them outside of it, which is just about impossible. And they've been doing it for a long time. It started after Atlantis went down. Luckily, I mean, women got the rights to vote and a couple things in their life. But are they still underpaid? They overworked, and they still used for a lot of other things, yes. In man's ignorance and ego, they abuse women as many different things.